Hello, my name is Kai, and this is my presentation on the mysteries of Egypt. Throughout time, bloodless battles have been waged against the mainstream understanding of our world. In recent years, a new theory has emerged that shakes the very foundation of human origin. This theory states that advanced human civilization existed over 14,000 years ago, and that these civilizations were wiped out by an asteroid hitting a glacier, which then caused an abrupt end to the Ice Age and a 40-foot spike in sea level, which is then referenced in the biblical floods, example being Noah's Ark. And then after humanization was wiped off the face of the earth from these floods, we were returned back to hunters and gatherers, and that's when our current understanding of the human origin starts. And I'm going to be looking at evidence of this in Egypt, because in Egypt is a hotspot for a sign of ancient high technologies, and it shows evidence of advanced tools, techniques, stoneworking, stone movement, incredible levels of precision, astronomical alignments, and golden ratios. So first we'll be going over the drill holes we see in Egypt. So as seen here, there's perfectly cylindrical holes that are drilled about a foot into solid granite, which is a very hard material, and the Egyptian tools would have been bronze because they were Bronze Age civilization, and bronze hammer and chisels and any tools that they could have used, even with like water saws, stuff like that, could not have drilled holes such as this in granite, as granite is far too tough, an 8 on the hardness scale. And in Leonard Gorlick's ancient Egyptian stone drilling journal of his, when he was researching these core holes, his assistant stated that modern diamond drill cores are clumsy and smudge work when compared to the Egyptian cores, which are these. And it cannot be understated as how well drilled these core holes are. There's almost no slowdown observed when these were being drilled. So it can only be assumed that some sort of ancient high technology was used to drill these holes. Another reason is that the pyramid itself would have been extremely hard to build. So in between each stone, you can't even fit a razor blade or a piece of paper sometimes. They're so well put together, even after all these years. And that the pyramid actually has 8 sides due to 2 concavities in each of the 4 main sides. And what this means is that it would be much harder to build the pyramid than previously presumed if it was, per se, 4 sides, because 8 sides is much harder to build. And every single little mistake made in any placement on the 2.3 million blocks used in the pyramid would have resulted in a spiral towards closer to the tip, as each error gets larger and larger every concurring stone. Right, and then other things are seen, evidence, high levels of precision around Egypt. One of the best places to see this is in the Serapeum under Egypt, where there is 22 70-ton granite boxes with 20-ton lids, which moving them underground into these areas already would be an extremely hard feat for ancient people. It would take great techniques of stone movement. But what's even more interesting is that all dimensions and faces of the box are precise down to 0.0005 inches, as observed by Dr. Robert Mshoff and by Dr. Christopher Dunn. And Christopher Dunn can actually be seen in the photos here. But when Christopher Dunn went to Egypt and studied these boxes, he said himself, actually, that to check my impression, I placed the edge of my precision ground parallel against the surface. I saw that it was dead flat. There was no light showing through the interface of the steel and the stone, as there would be if the surface was concave and the steel did not roll back and forth, as it would if the surface was convex. To put it mildly, I was astounded. What he found was that the stone is flat within the tolerance of the gauge, or within 0.005 inches. 0.005 inches, even better, which And it cannot be stressed the level of difficulty this would have been to do to 22 granite boxes, which the Egyptians could not have even, cut through with their current tools, to have this level of precision for 22 boxes, and that each box was milled out of a single large block of granite, meaning that any errors or any chips or any misuse of the tools would have caused redoing the entire work over again, as you cannot have a flawed box, and none of them are in the site. Moreover, Dr. Robert M. Schaff created a theory based on his discoveries at the Sphinx. So what he discovered was that there were signs of erosion around the Sphinx, and this is water erosion. But as we all know, Egypt is a desert. There's not much rainfall. There's no flowing water near the pyramids. So how did so much water erosion occur at the Sphinx? And his theory is that the Sphinx was built way longer ago, about 14,000 years ago, when these civilizations would have been created. And that during this period, that Egypt, there was a river flowing through this area, and that Egypt was a forest. Had much rainfall and plenty of water to cause this erosion. And another thing is the astronomical alignment and golden ratios of the pyramids. So researchers have studied before and seen that the pyramids line up with north and south to 1/15 of a degree, which is amazing, but it's not impossible for ancient civilizations like Egypt to have advanced astronomical capabilities. But what's even more crazy is that the pyramid was created with the golden ratio of phi in mind. And phi is a naturally occurring ratio that is related to pi. And when a mock pyramid was built using the ratios of phi, it was within 1 inch of the calculated pyramid, the real pyramid was, that is. So we know that the pyramids was created with the dimension of phi in mind, which would mean even more technological advanced knowledge in the civilization. And then another researcher, Kate Spence of Cambridge University, found that the pyramids line up with the Little and Big Dipper as well. And this shows even more advanced understanding of astrology in these ancient peoples. In conclusion, evidence shows that certain sites around Egypt were created using lost ancient high technology, and they were not created by the Egyptians. They did not have the tools or knowledge necessary to accomplish such great feats, such as the pyramids or the boxes under the Serapeum. And then in the pictures here we have the geologists that worked on the ancient core drills, the holes, and then we have Christopher Dunn, we have Robert M. Schaff, and that's all.